I'm the proud owner of a 1976 Catalina 27 standard rig that lives and sails in southeast Alaska. Lyric has been modified with backing plates on all stanchions, cleats, and chain plates, has a half cockpit enclosure, a Dickinson diesel heater, expandable bunks, AIS DSC VHF radio, and a wireless Wi-Fi hub that broadcasts AIS and GPS data to my iPad, and recently I installed a Starlink mini antenna. Here though, I want to feature her Galley, which is a custom-made galley that was built and installed by a previous owner who was a custom cabinet maker, and it shows. Through the years, people who've come on board are blown away by this galley, and I've recently had people in a couple of Facebook groups ask me to shoot a video featuring her galley. This video is in response to that request. So one of the Catalina sailing groups that I belong to on Facebook, somebody there asked me to do a short video on my custom galley here on Lyric, which is a 1976 Catalina 27 standard rig, and this is not your standard galley. This is a custom galley, and it was made by a previous owner who was a custom kitchen and cabinet maker, and he just did a bang-up job. Now, if you know the old Catalinas, they had a galley that went from here to about here, and pretty small with, I think it was an alcohol stove, a small sink, and a reefer back here, or an icebox back here. So this is on the port side, that is forward, that is aft into the companionway. So I want to go through just some of the features here real quick to maybe give you some ideas of what you could do with things in your galley to make like stowage and usage much easier. And I'm going to start here on the left-hand side. I don't have a stove, so what I use is one of these single burner propane units, and this goes onto a little 2-pound tank, and then I shove the tank back here and use the burner right in this location. I also have, if I can get this to work, a light right here. Oh, it's not charged up. Anyway, this is just a little 12-volt light. I don't think it's 12 volt, but it is a rechargeable light, and it's kind of programmable. And that way I didn't have to run any wires, and it shines right down on the area that I'm cooking. This shelf goes back up underneath this bulkhead here, so I can stow stuff back along this area here. This is the old ice box, and one of the things I did on my boat is I went through, when I got it 15 years ago, and redid all of the woodwork, but now I don't use it as an ice box. I use it for dry storage, and down on the left-hand side, I have about 30 containers of that freeze-dried food that you just add water to. For quick meals, you know, if we're tired and we're pulling in somewhere and we just want something quick to eat. And then in this container, I have oatmeal. This is my breakfast making, so I have packets of oatmeal, some brown sugar, some nuts in here, and I carry like a stick of butter to put in my oatmeal as well. So all the breakfast things are there, and then those freeze-dried foods are there. That's a lasagna in a meat sauce. So that's what I use this for. Here's a little trick for you. A little bungee cord on this and a little hook up there so that this will hold that up so you don't have to hold it up. And I just use a little coat hook or cup hook and then tie the bungees into that. Back here I have a little spice rack because it's a small boat. I can only get about 6 or 7 different spices in there. And then I put in these cigarette plugs for 12-volt power. I can recharge things right here. This is my charge controller for my solar panels. Up top here I have these wire baskets. So all of my cleaning supplies are right here. I have some spices and snacks. I've got contact solution. And I keep my forks, knives, and spoons in one of these little clip-on plastic things that's used for like hanging your sponges and stuff. That way I don't have to dig for silverware. It's right there. And the third one is kind of the snack area. If you haven't had these edamame beans, they're amazing. Of course, who doesn't like Kirkland trail mix? So quick snacks are right there. Personal hygiene, I've got toothbrush here, toothpaste, contact solution, that sort of stuff. I have a little inhaler because I have some allergies as well. And on the sink, this is a full-size kitchen sink, and I'm able to get a full cutting board on this. And one of these racks, kind of a drawing rack, these things fold up. Nice thing about this cutting board is it fits the sink, and it's sturdy, it doesn't move, and then when I don't need it, I just stow it right back here. So a full-size kitchen sink, of course, these things fold up out of the way. This sink has a soap dispenser. It has a pull-out spray head as well. I don't have hot water. I'll show you how I do hot water here in a minute. But I love the fact that this is a deep, full-size kitchen sink. If we're getting underway, we can stow things in here. I know the Catalinas come with a very small sink, but I have the real estate for a full-size sink right here. Prep area here. Good fiddles all the way around. And this is, I think they call it matchbox end. This is all one piece. You can see the lines go through on the disparate pieces there. I put in a UHMW cutting board that pulls out. Gives me a little extra prep area and a cutting surface, and it pulls all the way out so I can wash it and clean it, put it back in, and then while we're underway, it snaps down so it doesn't come out. These doors are amazing. I want you to notice the woodwork on the doors. I use these little towel holders like that. These are really handy. They just go over the door like that. In here I have a knife tray that holds the knives vertically. I also have a 12-volt refrigerator or freezer. I use it as a refrigerator. And I put this in, and I also put in a slide-out drawer for this. I still have to pull it out a little bit to get it open. But then, voila, there you go. So this one has an eco mode. I keep it at about 42 degrees. And we have various containers, cleaning supplies, miracle sponges, stuff like that in there. One of the things I did do with all of these slide-out drawers is I put a pin in here that goes all the way into this piece of wood, through this piece of wood, so that this drawer will not come out. That's a kind of an offshore trick. And then once you fold these back up, you double lock it like that. So that's how that works. Then on this side, under the sink, this is gonna blow your mind probably. These little self-sticking cup hooks, these little trays, I use that for, you know, scissors and barbecue lighter, can openers, stuff like that. Then this has a rather amazing drawer that comes out on its own, like that. There's my access to up underneath the sink. Nested cookware, if you don't have this, you really need to get this. It comes with like 3 different pots, and I made stews in this before, and then the handle for it is right here. So that handle goes on the pot and comes off so you can stow it. Typically what I keep in here is a couple of these stainless steel mugs. You can cook in these a little bit. Ceramic mugs, a thermos. What I do with the ceramic mugs is you can get a cup of soup in this mug, and then I put it over here on top of my Dickinson Newport heater. On the top, you give a cup of soup about a half an hour, stir it every once in a while, and it heats it up. You don't have to, heat it on the stove. Tupperware containers, I use this for breakfast, for oatmeal, salads, or leftovers. I keep the lids in here as well, so I've got about 4 of those. I've got an omelet pan here, extra storage for cleaning supplies and kitchen supplies. And of course, who doesn't have a kettle for hot water? Sorry, it's a little dirty. And under there I store things like freezer bags, Ziploc bags. I have both sandwich size, gallon size, and then of course aluminum foil for stuff that goes on the grill. I have a full grill that hooks onto the stern rail. So that's how that looks. One of the things I did too was put this rubberized matting material. I cut it to fit in here so that things don't slide around. It tends to stay where you put them. And because this is Alaska, we have what we call an Alaskan refrigerator, which is down in the bottom here. And I put fruits and vegetables in trays. This is something I did. This is all stowage area up underneath the galley. So I have these pull-out trays. And our water temperatures here are between 45 to 55 degrees, so it averages about 50 degrees. And because this is down low and next to the hull, this area stays at about 50 degrees. I have put tomatoes and lettuce and onions and mushrooms and peppers and zucchinis and stuff like that in here, in these trays, and it kept for about a week. So that's how that works. And I use this dry deck material to keep those plastic containers from actually sitting on the hull and getting dirty from condensation. And this is just a cabinet door that I bought at Home Depot, and I went and put a latch on it myself. Put a couple of hinges on the bottom. I varnished it as well, so that works really well. And all of that is stowage up to about here, and then you start getting into battery switches and foot pumps and stuff like that. So I do have a foot pump that works the sink, as well as an electric pump on the sink. Here's the electric. So I can switch between the foot pump and the electric if something goes out with the electric. There's a valve in here. I have to pull that shelf out, flip a valve, and then I can use the foot pump. Of course, fire extinguisher there. There's a little space in this area here. That's where the garbage goes. Up here I have a box for things I need in the cockpit right away. VHF radio, ship's horn, Binox, anemometer, spare batteries, rigging knife, shortwave radio, charts, ship's log. This is for measuring crab, make sure they're legal. So that's all right here so that it's readily accessible to the cockpit area. For windows, I've been using these inserts that I had custom made from a lady in a canvas shop in Seattle. I'm working on this one right now, but they just press in there and they give you an extra layer of insulation, and they totally darken the windows out. And because I have 6 windows, I have 6 of those. So there you go. That's about as quick as I can do my tour of the legendary Lyrics Galley.